Hello, hello, hello. There we go. What's up, guys? Nothing too special today. Just wanted to drop by and say hello. How's everyone doing? We have a couple of people. Follow Shaki, IO Code. I'm going to try to hang with you guys for like an hour today. Just trying to see what's up. How's it going for me? I am going through a couple of different things aside from producing the latest App Store course and also doing some other projects at the same time. I'm trying to actually find a place where I found a new apartment to move into, so I'm gonna get ready to move out of this current place. That's kind of why it looks like this here, and yeah, move into a little bit of a bigger area so that I can set up some more equipment, and hopefully I can kind of make the recording process much more efficient, and that way I can provide you guys with as much content as possible. So that's the plan. I'm gonna be moving sometime next month, so a little bit stressful, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Okay, so we have a couple of people in the stream right now. I don't think too many people are going to join on a Saturday, but I'll just hang for a while. Let's see. Edwin Paz. I applied to a job and got rejected because I did not use MVC and had a massive view controller. They did not care of me not using storyboard. Okay. So I think if you watch a lot of the courses that I have, we almost always try to avoid the massive view controller problem. So separating things into your network services, not doing a lot of drawing code in your view controller. Make sure you use your cells to do the drawing. And I think that's typically the initial approach to solving that problem. I don't think companies really care too much about storyboard versus not storyboarding. It's not really a big deal. Janae Khan says our currency is low as compared to US dollar. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I can do about that. Let me check your account. So let's see what we have here. I know Junad. Junaid Khan. Yeah. Not too sure what I can do about the courses. They're just priced the way that they are based on my situation. So that's kind of how it is. If your boss wanted you to learn React Native, and if your boss wanted to learn, okay, let me try this again. Smilebot says, if your boss wanted you to learn React Native, would you do it or stay native and find another gig? Curious what your thoughts are. I love learning. That's not the issue. For me personally, if my boss wanted to deploy the application using React Native, I would probably do it. I think we fall in the same boat, me and you, Smile. I don't mind learning at all either. I actually like dabbling in technology that I'm not comfortable with. That way, I don't know, I feel like that's one of the best ways to actually learn and try to expand your horizons. So yeah, I would say try to do your best. Dennis White, rarely get a chance to catch the live streams. Yeah, good to have you join me today. DM you Instagram and you not reply me. Why? I don't reply to anybody on social media, so you are not special in any way. The only place I do interact with people is Twitter. I don't like, yeah. I recommend that you guys also get off social media if you can. Don't get off YouTube though. Just get off everything else. I was rejected because I don't know RX Swift. If I think a lot of the job listings will post what the job requirements are. So if they do list RX Swift, you probably want to study up on it and at least know the basics of RX Swift. It's a pretty popular. It's not an iOS library actually. It's a more general programming principle that a lot of companies will adopt. So if you learn RX Swift, you learn actually how to apply it across a lot of different languages. Sammy says, any chance of us still getting the Instagram Stories app? The Instagram Stories app, that's a good question. I kind of stopped the research on that. I found that it was kind of hard to build. Instagram Stories. So for me, the showstopper for the Stories app was due to Firestore. Just didn't have a proper backend to support the necessary stories data models, so I decided not to do any further development on that project. I started working on a Node.js backend to actually support an Instagram Stories like application, and that's going really well. But I don't know how to integrate it within the iOS ecosystem. Like, if anything, I would have to teach you guys how to build out that Node.js backend. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to learn how to build something complicated in Node.js, and then I could probably build like a really expansive course. It's gonna be more expensive because it's gonna be like, it's gonna have a lot more videos, maybe like 50 or 60. But if that's something that you guys are interested in, then I'll have to price it at like $100 or something, because it's gonna be a lot of research, a lot of production, a lot of just trying to get things in. I don't know how that's gonna go, but can you please guide me on winning a scholarship for WWDC 2021, as I'm a newbie to programming? So I had someone else that watched a lot of my video tutorials on YouTube, and they actually got a scholarship for WWDC, and they also took like all of the courses on the website at letsbuildthatapp.com, and they got a scholarship. They went to the whole Apple WWDC event, and I believe they got a lot out of that experience. So the most important thing was actually he told me that he developed like a pretty complicated application with like all code, and that was impressive. So that's kind of why they got the scholarship, or at least that's one of the reasons. Will I do a RX Swift tutorial? Maybe. I don't know. Messenger app using Kotlin was awesome. Cool. I do plan on doing some more Kotlin Android content. Not exactly sure yet. If anything, I'll probably make a Kotlin Instagram course that will be, based on Firebase Firestore. That's going to be the back end. And that should be out like mid 2019. What course do you recommend from your list to learn MVC or MVVM, and what a company expects from a developer? So this is a pretty hard question to answer. I guess more specifically, what a company expects from a developer is, it can range. If you're just a junior developer, then I think companies are just looking for someone that's willing to learn how to code within the company like development structure that they have in place. And if they can get a good sense that you're willing to adapt, learn, and be a productive programmer, then I don't see them having a reason to like reject you. If they're looking for a senior developer, that's kind of a different story. Like you kind of have to already understand what MVC and MVVM, what they're capable of doing, because it really puts a foundation for the software that you're going to build on top of, or at least how you go forward in terms of developing the crucial components for your company's software. Do you have any previous videos on Today Widgets? I don't think so. Yeah. Can everyone share my Patreon link? Let me just read this just to troll this guy. The link is patreon.com/iOSPopGaming. A few years ago, I had several iOS apps in development but got derailed. Read my Patreon page. First of all, you are not supposed to spam people's channels with your Patreon link. How about everyone go to this Patreon site and just spam the hell out of them? How about that? I do approve of good spam trolling. Not that I care. Maybe I should go to this website right now and start spamming. Will I teach CallKit? Never worked with CallKit, so I don't think so. David Kispy. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Kispy? Quispy. Hello, Brian. Can you help me with one issue? Is it possible to retrieve push notification info after it was cleaned from the notification center? Don't think so. Cool. Shri Kumaran. I'm being an iOS developer and learning about iOS. Yeah. Do you... here's a good question, Filashaki. So these are the good questions. These are the good questions I like answering. The more complicated questions I like. I don't like the dumb newbie questions. Yeah, so I actually do believe there are dumb newbie questions. So, do you prefer weakly or strongly typed languages? So I used to be a big advocate for strongly typed languages such as Java and let's see, like C# and .NET and the older languages that were out way back in the day. But having worked with things like Ruby, JavaScript, React, and now working with Swift and Kotlin a lot, you kind of appreciate the languages that are both not strongly typed, and then also the languages like Swift and Kotlin that are kind of in the middle. They have type inference. And if you like work in weakly typed languages like JavaScript for a while, and then you go back to Java, you start programming in it, you just feel like, man, you're typing way too much. Like there's just way too much typing in Java just to get something working. I'm sure most of us would like a complete Node.js course. Something like that would be valuable for me personally. Cool. So once I get the App Store course finished, which is this right here, I think you guys can see it. So if anyone's interested in checking out the App Store course, it's here. We can click on this thing here, drag, let's see, do this. So I'm trying to finish up on all of the lessons here. I think we have about, I would say 20 lessons left. And we'll roughly end up with about 30 plus episodes in that entire course. And then once I finish that, I think I'll move on to something such as either Node.js backend development, Instagram for Kotlin Android, or some kind of like React.js course, or a Flutter course. Yep. That's kind of the plan for me for the next couple of months. I would be very interested in learning Node.js and SQL backend. Can you do Kotlin Messenger, please? I don't know what to do now after I do all. All the code is already online on the YouTube videos on the website as well. If you can't follow the YouTube instructions, then there's not really much I can do for you. I'm sure if you've answered this already, but why did you move to your kitchen? So that's a good question. No one's actually asked. Well, I guess that question hasn't really come up yet. So every like couple of months, I decide to move my entire setup, and just happens that the kitchen was the next location. I have my rooms over there, and my living room's here. It used to be everything in the living room, and then I got kind of bored of the living room, and then I decided to go in the bedroom, and now I'm in the kitchen. It's a little strange. There's really no rhyme or reason around where I put my setup. I mentioned Q. 老五,老五,你好,老五,你好. Maybe I should do this whole stream in Chinese. How about that? 你好,咱们今天啊. I don't even know what to say. I want to know how bright iOS features have been developing applications for the last 3 years, but currently the market is pretty slow and slowed down due to React Native development. So I feel like there's two things going on with iOS development. There's still a big pool of iOS jobs that you can get in the Silicon Valley, but now I feel like a lot of companies are looking for an easier solution that's maybe cheaper in the short term. And because short-term development, I guess there are a lot of cheaper React Native developers, so you can get some type of React Native application done relatively quickly, like 3 to 6 months. And if that proof of concept is something that they want to build on top of, then what they do is they switch from the React Native application to something that's more fully native. So as you can imagine, most companies that do develop mobile applications, most of them end up failing. So what they do is they try to get the React Native proof of concept out as fast as they can, and then they fail, right? Most companies just fail within like the first year. So those jobs are kind of more somewhat split evenly between native and React Native. So that's kind of where things are right now. But I don't know. I feel like development is always changing. Like you might be into iOS one period, and then you might be into Android, and then you might switch over to web development, and then you might go into full stack, including the backend. You don't really want to lock yourself down on a particular ecosystem. So I guess this is one tangent that I'll go on for today, one of my many tangents. But there's really no reason why I have an iPhone. I can equally have an Android phone. I've never been a big fan of either platform, either ecosystem. But it just turns out that my job is mostly developing iOS applications. So I have a Mac and I have an iPhone. Other than that, there's really no reason why I'm using this at all. So if I wasn't doing iOS development, then I would be doing React.js web browser development with maybe Node.js or some backend. Try not to lock yourself down is what I'm trying to say, and that's a very long-winded answer. About MVM, what you think about clean Swift templates? What should we use? So I don't know exactly what clean Swift templates are. Can't really answer that question. Brandon saying, can you use Unreal Engine 4? I guess, if you want. Real Life 1. So you mean we're not going to have Instagram story course anymore? Okay, so in the chat, okay, so here's the question for the chat. What exactly do you want from the Instagram story course? Because I have a couple of core things that I would want to develop. So the first thing would be how to create a story and how to store it in the cloud. And a story would be an image. There's two versions of a story, right? One is an image story, and there would be some text on top of it. The other version of a story would be a video story where you would have to, shoot video from the camera on your phone. And then you would still have to upload that to Firestore or somewhere. If we want to support that, if you want to support just these two functions, then yeah, I can produce this course. But anything outside of that, I think it'd be too much work. Any thoughts on the Flutter SDK? I haven't touched the Flutter SDK in a while. What has it been, like a year and a half? I think it's made fairly good progress. If you wanna further like discover what the functionality and the feature set is, I just recommend going into the Flutter SDK, downloading it, and then try creating your own fairly sophisticated like JSON decoding project, and then you'll get a pretty good idea. Okay, here's the mic. Okay, hopefully the mic is okay. What databases mostly companies using, and what do you prefer? All databases are pretty much the same. Unless you're like a senior database developer, then you probably shouldn't worry about all the minor details or the minor differences among like MySQL or Postgres or Windows SQL Server. Doug Harper, I've been away for a while. Good to see your live stream. What's coming up? What's coming up? That's a good question. So one thing that I'm really bad at that I notice is I don't have any type of calendar at all. I typically try to do things based on what I feel like should be done on a given day. So I have no calendar. And somehow, yeah, having no calendar works for me. And I've been able to put everything out. The RKN, I haven't coded for a month, so where to start now? Just need a little suggestion. So if you've taken a long break from anything, like let's say working out, I haven't ran in a while, which I like doing now. So me trying to get back into running, I just have to take baby steps. Try to run for like 10 minutes one day, and then run for 20, and then 30, and then try to get that up. Start small. Thanks for the spam. Smackaroonie, about to eat. Ooh, tacos. I love tacos. I love me some nice tacos. Difference between a framework and a library. A framework is more like something that you can... what is the difference between a framework and a library? A framework is kind of like a set of rules for a particular like development style. Like it's actually a set of rules that you have to follow so that you can take advantage of the features that the framework like wants you to use. So that's kind of a framework in my personal opinion. A library is more like, oh, here's something that's kind of cool. If you want to use it, use it. Like if you want to make image processing easier, download this library and use this image processing thing. The framework is more like a structure for a development style. Wafi Chowdhury, could you do a more recent video with Firebase and iOS? So there's the Tinder Firestore like MVVM course that's available in the link description below. So if you want to check out more recent Firebase videos, that's definitely the place to go. VoIP, voice over IP. Yeah, it's a typical iOS thing that a lot of people have problems with. Don't really want to answer that question. Okay, here's a Hackintosh question. Is it easier or harder to Hackintosh a PC? I did one years ago, but it was slow and unresponsive as hell. I finally went and bought one and had no problem until I was destroyed in a hurricane. Well, sorry about the hurricane, but I am operating off of a Hackintosh. All the videos that you see done through a Hackintosh, Premiere, and yeah, everything's working just fine. The only problem I have is this video capture doesn't capture well in full detail. So down here, there's maximum detail. It doesn't capture that in 60 frames per second, which is kind of a problem. But in this current high quality, it's okay. Aside from that, the Hackintosh is working perfectly. I feel like I might do another build, another Hackintosh build, and I'll capture that for anyone that wants to see how the Hackintosh is actually built out. So it's actually very easy. I spent about $800 on the Hackintosh myself. And instead of like spending $5,000 on an iMac Pro, you spend like $700 and you get something that's almost the equivalent. You don't get a monitor, but I have like 5 different monitors. So I don't really need a monitor. Yeah, I'm not really doing a lot of Android Kotlin development lately, so I'm not really up to date with all the Kotlin stuff. I see lately you are doing pure code. No, I've been doing pure code for like 5 years. And before that, I was doing pure code for a while too. I like storyboard for reviews, but what's the big benefit of pure code? There's really no benefit on anything really. The main reason why I teach you guys pure code is because I want you guys to learn how to read code. So like there's a huge advantage for me personally, because when I have to teach you guys how to like use some framework code, like how to use the photo library and how to use the maybe like CL manager, core location manager. You've been looking at code the whole time. I don't have to jump from a view thing to code and kind of context switch. We're always just working with code. For me, it works as like an instructor. Let's do it. Do I have a Discord or a line channel? No, I do not. The main reason why I don't have a Discord or any type of like live chat thing is because I wouldn't have the time to support that. So I feel like I just don't have the resources to make that a viable thing for me. Database differences starting quite early. Just think about full text search stuff. Yeah, that's. I believe Postgres is really good in terms of like searching through JSON. So if you need that, definitely use Postgres. Could you make a video on refresh token? No, probably not. I don't really know why you're dealing with the refresh token. Most of the time, unless you're developing like a very closed system for your own proprietary software, you don't really have to deal with the refresh token. But I guess that's what you gotta do. Diego Bustamante, hey man, what's up? How do you pronounce this? Is this Joa Palma? Joao? Ever thought about vlogging? I've thought about it, but so I don't know. I don't really like vlogging. I guess my life isn't that interesting for me to do an actual vlog. Another thing that I don't like is I don't really find myself enjoying like video editing all that much. Like it's alright, but if I can avoid video editing, then I would prefer to. Like ideally for me, if I could just develop code and have someone else teach it, then that would be the perfect life for me. And furthermore, perhaps if I didn't have to record these videos, if I didn't have to be like the face of the channel, that would be ideal too. But such is life. Next course suggestion, notification activity feed where you can follow others. Firebase isn't great for this, so maybe a custom backend like node. Yeah, so Daniel Kerbel. So at the beginning of 2019, I was wrapping up on my research, developing like a Node.js Twitter style backend. Everything was working pretty well, and I have a base foundation chunk of code that I wanted to turn into a course, like how to follow people, how to tweet a message so that your followers can actually get it in a feed, and then include like image support. One of the hard things about image support is that you need a custom S3, AWS S3 account. So I don't know exactly how I want to set that up. Maybe I can just show how to save images on the actual server. Like, that's not ideal, but maybe that's how I would do it. But yeah, I have a good chunk of code that I can teach for notifications and activity feeds. But the CK Rifle Guy, which language you suggest? That's a pretty broad question, and on this channel, I don't really answer broad questions like that. I'm new to Swift, learning from videos, start building my first app, which is for poems, okay, and it's Arabic. I think I will save poems to HTML. So I think when you're starting out development, it seems like everything is an HTML page, but things are really stored in a database, and the database will contain your poems. You probably don't understand what that is yet, but further down the road, you'll have to decide what kind of database you want to use. Let's see, is Swift a good programming language? Just so you get some experience in programming. I think any language is good. So here's my here's my advice for people that are trying to decide on programming languages. I guess that's a pretty common thing to do, because there's so many different options for programming languages out there. And asking which language is the best language is the wrong question to answer or to ask. The correct question to ask is, which language do I right now, which one of these languages do I have the most resources and the most documentation that I can follow? That's the right language you want to use and learn for your first language. And if it just so happens that you have an iPad, an iPhone, you have this channel full of iOS tutorials, then yeah, you would probably use like Swift as your first language. If you have a lot of like browser resources like React, JavaScript resources, then just go with React or go with JavaScript. That's how you should look at things. Not like, don't take some guy's opinion on what is best, because everyone's situation is different, and how they got into programming is totally it's very nuanced. Everyone has their own background. Yeah, MySQL doesn't have native JSON types. Yep. MariaDB. Yep. Postgres is supposed to be really good for like geo stuff and also JSON support. Yeah. If you really need that functionality, then you probably already know that you don't want to use MySQL or anything else. Peter Gaffney says, how to transfer Xcode iOS projects into Android applications. I don't know how to answer this question, man. I guess if you're asking this question, you have a lot of things to consider. You have more important things to answer before you ask this question here. Followers, feeds through Firebase, still possible though, right? So the more I develop code, or the more I create these courses using Firebase, the more I feel like having a custom backend is just faster for development. And every time I think about it, I get kind of stuck on kind of like, when should you actually just learn a custom backend language? Like, where's the tipping point where all this Firebase code starts to be like a lot of debt, and you're just developing a lot of code that you don't want. And then at a certain point you go, oh, if you just work with Node.js or something, then it'll be much easier. I don't really know where that point is. I think Firebase is still an excellent cloud technology for people that don't want to deploy and manage their own like backend machine, because I really don't like doing that either. I think I need some water. Today's video sponsored by Crystal Geyser. What's up with the camera? Okay, we're gonna get real close and personal. What's everybody doing today? So here's a question that I want to ask you guys. When you guys get the notification for the stream, do you guys just open it and are you guys excited about what I have to say? Probably not, right? I don't know what's going to happen for this channel for 2019. A lot of you guys can tell that not a whole lot of videos are coming out these days. I'm really focusing on just producing videos for the website. Maybe I'll just make the website the hub for all the videos, and then I'll have to push out email notifications for whenever I upload a new video for the website. YouTube has become this weird place now, and there's a lot of politics on YouTube that I would like to ignore if possible. And it seems like YouTube is in a transition phase where they don't know exactly how they want to serve people. And maybe it's best if I just got off YouTube and put everything on the website. What do you guys think? Yeah, so Dennis White, check out Vimeo. So all the videos that I host for the courses, they are already hosted on Vimeo. So I would upload videos to Vimeo, make those videos public, and then I will send everyone a email notification for that video, pretty much like what YouTube does. I already have all of that set up, so it wouldn't be a huge amount of effort for me in terms of development. But YouTube is a bigger platform, has more people visiting the site, easier to search. Obviously, I don't have a search bar yet. I can develop one if I wanted to, but it would generate more. It would generate more traffic for the. Well, actually, I don't know. I guess people would have to find the website first, and then they would have to get on the email list notifications. I don't know. Am I leaving YouTube? So I'm not leaving YouTube, but I have hesitation, or I have reservations on how long or how much content I want to put on YouTube, because there's a lot of different things that go through my mind when I think about uploading to YouTube or just uploading to the website. YouTube is a great way to get exposure for what you're trying to do, right? But aside from that, like, I would just turn off all the ads on my videos. Eventually, I'll just turn off all the ads. Like, the amount of money on the ads that's earned through Google AdSense is just very insignificant to me now. And that's because I have a lot of support from you guys just going through the website. And I can also produce, I can be more efficient with what I produce for you guys on the website. So that's the balance act that you have to consider. I'll never give up on YouTube. It's just, there's just a lot going through my mind on how I want to, like, what the future of this platform is going to be, both YouTube and my website. Have I decided to try Udemy? So there's three platforms that I stay away from, and there's never a chance that I'm gonna get on Udemy. There's also no chance that I'll ever be on Patreon. And what else is there out there? Yeah, I think those two things I stay away from like the plague. Like, you guys can definitely use Udemy. I recommend that you guys do you use Udemy. It's a great platform for students. Not a great platform for instructors though. Yeah, do some short videos on YouTube that promote the website. Yep. Swifty Tilting Planet. Yeah, that's the whole point of YouTube. I don't think YouTube is bad. It's just a lot of like controversy and drama that I don't want to be a part of. But it's not a huge thing, but just a small minor annoyance of YouTube that I have to deal with. But yeah. Who knows? Any reasons to stay away from Udemy? You're a software developer. Yeah, no real reason. But if you're a big content creator, Udemy puts a lot of different rules on what you can and cannot do. I like to develop my own teaching style and my own code, and upload like sample code anywhere I want. So am I sick? I don't know if I'm sick. I'm just kind of tired. So I woke up like 10 different times last night when I was trying to sleep. I feel like as you get older, let me know if this is a thing. As you get older, do you find it harder and harder to sleep? Because like the last 5 years, I just haven't been able to get good sleep. You go to sleep, you wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and then your mind starts racing because you have things to do. And then you sleep for like another 2 hours, and you wake up at 7 o'clock. I feel like that's been my life for the last 5-6 years. And maybe it's because I have this YouTube channel. I feel like everyone that is a YouTuber are extremely stressed out. You guys don't know how it is to be a YouTuber. It might seem like it's easy. It actually is. All you're doing is you're sitting at home producing videos. Yeah, so another question is like, how often do I travel? So the last trip I had was going to Shanghai. And that was in August. So it's been like a half a year. And during that whole trip in Shanghai, I was doing Swift teaching. So I was teaching college students how to program in Swift. It was great, but the whole time I was just more thinking about how to build more things or more courses for the website. So my mind was kind of split between two different projects. But yeah, how do you deal with job rejection? How do you guys deal with job rejection? I only have those restless nights when I'm stressed. I think, yeah. I haven't really found a good way to relieve the stress that I feel. It's just, if you're a person that worries a lot like me, I don't know if worry is the right word, but there's just a lot of different things that you could be doing. And if you don't try to give it 150%, you just feel like you're not utilizing your time efficiently. That's how I feel. Here's a good comment. Abuzera Asif. I created approximately 10-minute video, and it took me approximately 8 hours to make it. Creating a video is very time consuming. I understand your feelings. Yeah. So it used to take me 5 hours to create one single video that was about 20 minutes. All the editing. I don't do any type of scripting, but if I had to do scripting, it would take me forever. And yeah, it takes a long time. But nowadays, I have this workflow that I follow. Everything's kind of streamlined. The process is much easier for me. But even then, it takes me 2.5 hours to produce a 25-minute video. So recording takes about an hour, editing takes another 45 minutes, rendering, uploading, naming the darn video, creating the thumbnail, and then sending it out to whoever that wants to watch it. I guess 2.5 hours isn't that bad. So at the very most, I can probably get 4 videos done in a day. But it's pretty rare that I actually put out 4 videos. What do I think about storyboards because my team leader forced to use them? It's whatever. It's whatever. Yeah, storyboard's not too bad. Yeah, it's fine. Just don't stress out too much about someone else's development style. Just do what everyone else is doing. Yeah. So the Flash says, go to YouTube, watch something useful, and then step over on a stupid video. So you often, if you pay too much attention to the right recommended bar of videos, you'll often get baited into clicking things that you don't want to click onto. Ray Winterlick, Paul Hudson, and me. That's kind of where things are good. Yeah. Paul Hudson's good. I think he's at 2 Straws on Twitter. He has a really good website. I still go to Paul's website a lot to, look for those tips that he puts up. So my channel is mostly like as advanced as I can get in video format. So here's something else that I want to ask you guys. There's actually a lot more advanced content that I could put out there, or I don't want to say advanced, but I would like to develop applications much faster. So I might just put out this very short library that I tried like 2 years ago. And this library can speed up things dramatically. Like creating this list, I can just create it in like a minute. And go skip all this registration process BS, like cell registration. I know a lot of you guys probably think cell registration is very exciting. But it's something that you can get done in like 2 seconds if you have this library that helps you do it. Maybe I'll just create a couple of videos that explain this way to speed up development and just use that, and then we can spend time more efficiently doing actual development work instead of just this boilerplate code that's really boring. But then I'm sure I might lose a lot of you guys if you can't follow that framework. So this is what a framework looks like. I want to put out this tool set that makes development a lot easier. You just have to follow a couple of the framework rules and you'll be good to go. But if you can't follow those rules, it's not going to be that helpful for you. So I don't know I'm always trying to figure out what the balance is in terms of just teaching you guys the fundamentals versus like just really pushing hard and push the development process so hard and fast that you can build out something super, super unique and contains a lot of functionalities, and is more advanced. So Framework. Yeah, so a lot of people have, or not a lot of people, but there's a particular Twitter account that steals other people's code and claims that it's their own. And I don't really mind people taking the code, and I don't even mind people that don't attribute where the code comes from. Like, who really cares? But if you are a Twitter account that is dedicated to putting out Swift code that's helpful for the community, I would hope that you had the ethics, the moral ethics to actually attribute where you got the code from. And it's very obvious where the code came from because I have my particular coding style, and the code is like word for word, line by line, space by space, exactly my coding style. And it came from like my library of layout, like layout anchoring stuff, right? So it's obviously mine, but this person doesn't want to like claim, or I guess they're claiming it's theirs. So, yeah, I don't really get stressed out about this stuff. It doesn't really bother me at all. I just find it peculiar. Yeah, just give the credit. I don't even know if this person is intentionally claiming that is their own. So, yeah, people will take code and do with it what they want. Like, most of my code I probably learned off someone else, but it's not word for word. And yeah, I don't know, who cares really. Nice kitchen. If you can actually see how bad the kitchen is in real life, you would not call it nice. Yeah, I don't have too much in my kitchen actually. Just like a tea kettle. That's a sink, obviously, and some dishes here. Haven't really had my lunch yet, but what are you guys having for lunch? Let me know. How difficult is it to get an internship in the Bay Area for someone outside the USA? I think it's so there's something in the US called a H-1B visa. You guys are probably more knowledgeable about this than I am. But from what I know, the US only has a limited amount of H-1B visas that they can give out per year. So you have to enter into a visa lottery. And there's really no way to get a visa other than that, I believe. I believe companies also have like a limited number of visas that they can give out to potential employees. So if you find a company that's willing to sponsor you, then that's how you get into the US as like an iOS developer. And then you have to work for that company for like the next 5 years before you get your green card. And everyone does this. A lot of people go through this 5-10 year process. And then they eventually become a legalized citizen, and they no longer have to enter into the H-1B visa lottery. Yeah. I'm very lucky because I am as you can probably tell, I am a U.S. citizen. Not that there's nothing special about that. But having been raised and born in California, I never really had to deal with any type of like immigration work, which is great for me. My sister was actually, she was actually like born somewhere else, and she came over when she was like half a year old or 1 year old. And even then she had to deal with so much paperwork. And when she was growing up, dealing with like immigration work, paperwork, becoming a citizen. Yeah, I didn't have to deal with all that. Like, lucky me. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do for food either. I have let me get something. Okay. You guys like Twinkies, right? You guys know what a Twinkie is. Okay. if you don't know what a Twinkie is, let me know. Maybe I'll eat one. No, nah. You probably don't want to eat a Twinkie on stream, right? Anything phallic is probably not allowed. Yeah. So eating this, well, I guess it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, it's just a very phallic symbol. Twinkies, no, don't do that to yourself. So this is, this is actually the very first box of Twinkies that I've ever bought. I've never purchased Twinkies before. Most difficult thing as a developer based in San Francisco. Most difficult thing as a software engineer in San Francisco is if you don't live in San Francisco, the commute into the city is very killer. So I think for most people, it takes at least 45 minutes to get from their apartment to the actual office and get in the front door. So every day you waste about an hour and a half just commuting. But that's what you have to deal with. I don't think it's like any different for any other industry, really. Commuting is a horrible thing. If you live in a big city like New York, LA, San Francisco, that's just how it is. Am I doing full time or do I do freelancing too? So I do 3 things, I guess. I guess I do 3 things. YouTube used to be a full-time thing, and then I kind of transitioned into doing the courses, the website courses full-time. And then I also started doing some freelancing work. So I kind of stopped doing YouTube for a while, and now I'm just doing the courses and the freelancing. And things are great. Everything has kind of gone to plan as I envisioned it. So when I started this channel 3 years ago, this is sort of where I wanted to be in terms of just, a viewership, audience, growing the platform, having a website that does mostly what I wanted to do. And I think financially things are working out pretty well. Yeah, so now is kind of where I'm kind of at a crossroads in terms of how I want to further develop the channel. I might pull the focus off of coding for a little bit, because I don't mind doing coding, right? I do coding every day, all day. It's mostly like, yeah, it's not that I mind doing coding, but I also want to provide something else on the channel that's unique. So, yeah, I'm going to move into doing more content on building out this Hackintosh. And, maybe a lot of you guys don't want to watch that content, but I'll put a couple of videos up and see how that does. Because I actually really like, I really like putting together computers. I don't do it a whole lot, but I really like doing it. So I will try to set that up at my new apartment whenever that happens. What's my favorite music genre? So I'm listening to a lot of lo-fi hip hop, which is this. Can you guys hear it? Yeah, I don't really watch, I don't really care about the monetization on YouTube anymore. I'm thinking about turning off all the ads on the videos, or all the ads that I produce in or the videos that I produce in the future, I'll probably just either turn off the ads, or I don't really look at my ad statistics anymore anyways. It's really good. So out of all these, am I putting this over? Out of all these, I think I can't really say what my favorite is, but I really like the chocolate donut. The chocolate donut. And the powdered donut right there, that's pretty awesome too. I don't really like any of these. I used to like this swirly thing. I can't remember what it's called, but I used to like that a lot. Not really a big fan of Twinkies, actually. What libraries do you recommend for core data animations, if any? So I think everything that Apple produces through UIKit, the UIKit libraries are more than enough. Do I play video games? Not anymore. I used to be a World of Warcraft player, like a decade ago, when that game was still relevant. But not anymore. What do I think about the gun problem in the US? I think there was a big gun scare in San Francisco yesterday at a concert, a Hamilton concert. Apparently there was were there shots fired? I didn't read the entire story, but gun scare, and I guess a lot of people started scrambling at the Hamilton concert. So what I find is, if you don't read the news, none of this stuff affects you. That's what I found. If you do read the news and you pay attention to a lot of this stuff, it starts to like affect you negatively, psychologically. And I realized that I didn't used to care about this stuff at all, and it never affected me. It was like, until you start getting onto YouTube, you start watching a lot of these videos that get promoted and try to promote fear among people. That's kind of where you start to understand, like, oh, this is news that doesn't affect most people in their everyday lives. Like when I walk outside, like no one's pulling a gun out and no one's doing anything violent. There's no protest going on. There's nothing bad going on outside in the real world. But if we get stuck in this like YouTube, online, Twitter world where everything is just constantly bad, then yeah, you think that the world is going to shit. But really, you walk outside and everyone's behaving like civil human beings, right? You don't go outside and get robbed or anything. Nothing bad happens. So whenever you watch the media and all their news, definitely just take it with a grain of salt there. What is the name of the framework library to register cells? So I might just put out a video. A while back, I created this like generic table view controller. And if you watch that video, you can see that creating this table view list thing takes like, I don't know, 30 seconds. If you really understand how it works, it takes like 30 seconds. And you get a list going. So I might just do that for the courses because I get really tired of going through the registration dequeuing process. It's a lot of boilerplate stuff. How to transition from a developer to product management? I don't really know. I never went through that path myself, so I don't really know. Martin Zeisler asks, don't you want to work at Apple or another big company? Getting out of school, I definitely was in the mindset of, yeah, let me try to get a job at one of these big companies like Apple, Google, Facebook. Uber's that right now. Tesla maybe. Definitely Microsoft was a big thing back in the day. Yeah, I wanted to do that when I got out of college. I believe I was rejected at Google like 8 years ago, I think. And yeah, not a thing that I probably wouldn't even want to do any type of programming full time anymore. Being an entrepreneur, you really start to change. Your mindset changes once you start developing your own products and you don't work for anyone else but kind of yourself. And I guess along with that comes like 100% control. You fail and you succeed based on your own actions and no one else's. Like you don't have a boss watching over you. You have total control for what you're doing. Not everyone really wants to work that lifestyle, but if you do have the personality that enables you to get things done on your own, then you'll enjoy it a lot more. For me, whenever I was a 9-to-5 software developer, I just felt like I was wasting so much time in these meetings, commuting to work. Literally, the commute and the meetings at work combined takes up about 4 hours of your day. And you just get stuck wondering, like really wondering why you became a software developer, because you're not really writing code all the time. You're seeing through a lot of BS. So yeah, let's see, we have 69 viewers. I think I'm gonna check out. If you have any last questions, do let me know. I'll probably grab some lunch now. Nothing too awesome about lunch for me. Some leftover food in the fridge. And let's see. Okay. All right, last question. Peter Glaza. I am learning Swift now, getting 40 years old this year. Love it, but everybody recommends me to switch to front end as I have no computer science education. Have a M degree, a master's degree, but in a different field. What to do? Okay, so if you're 40 years old, and you don't have a ton of programming experience, I would say that you still have a pretty high chance on getting a job if that's what you want. I don't know if that's what you want to do. If you want to get a job as a developer, it's still not that bad. But whether or not you should switch to front end, so here's what my opinion is on this. I feel like front end browser development is just a lot easier. I'll just put it that way. And if you want to do something that's maybe easier to you, then do front end JavaScript programming. That's not to say that Swift is all that hard either. As you can see, Swift is also very easy. So that's, yeah. I'll say do what you enjoy, obviously. If you don't like front end, back end, or front end development, just don't do it. Is it difficult for a Mexican developer to get a job in the USA? I don't think so. If you follow the rules in getting into the US. And I don't think it's that hard if you are a professional developer. Like the US, I think we're very good at letting the people in that we want, right? We want to actually let high skilled people into the country. It's more like the low skilled labor that we're kind of, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a low skilled worker, but it just seems like we have a lot of that already. But who knows? I guess we'll avoid the wall topic for now. Okay, so this is the question about will display method in collection views. So will display in a collection view and a table view, it's what you want to execute, or code that you want to execute before the cell gets redrawn inside of the table view. If there's any type of redrawing that you have to do outside of cell for item at or cell for row at, then you would use will display. I don't know exactly when you would want to use this over cell for item at. Yeah. Okay. All right. So last question, and then I'm out. Where do I take most of my knowledge from previous work? Okay. So the question is, where do I get most of my knowledge? Is it from previous work, from books, or any additional resource for learning new things, or Google for the first? So here's a question that I can talk about for like days. The most important thing that you can learn as a developer, or anything really in 2019, is how to Google search for the things that the questions that you have. Google searching for like software questions and software answers is a little bit of a skill in itself, but if you do it enough, if you Google search for iOS Swift development things, you'll definitely see a pattern of the websites that you can trust and the websites that you can read from. So not everything is very like easy to read, but you'll find yourself in Stack Overflow and like maybe Ray Wenderlich and some of the videos on this channel. Aside from that, I probably wouldn't recommend like going through books. A lot of people don't like going through books, and I fall into that camp. And it's not that books aren't helpful, but a majority of people have to be presented with a use case before they really want to actually consume the content that's related to dealing with the use case solution. So that's what I recommend. Yeah, books are super helpful, but they're not the first thing that I would say is the most valuable resource. But yeah, I will see everyone later, and thanks for joining the stream today. Bye guys.